The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
All right, welcome back to our mugshot.
I'm giving you this one.
Go to at Tony Kurre Radio on Twitter and answer my Twitter poll. Who's had a bigger impact? And I stopped right down. Not in your life, not in our. Who's had a bigger impact? Dr. Phil, Ozzy Osbourne, Tom Brady. If you think about it, you're thinking globally, and the people that we've been touched by. I don't think, and right now Tom is leading. I don't think Tom is.
That's just because we're doing it right.
It's recent, but I mean, all three of those guys hung it up yesterday on one day. Dr. Phil, Ozzy, and Tom all retired.
Who did Ozzy first? I wonder who dropped first.
I think Ozzy did first, then Dr. Phil, then Tom.
Okay, you think that's why Tom did it?
I hate it for Ozzy. He's 74 years old. He wants to play so bad. He's gonna play again.
That's the difference, though.
He said physically I can sing. I just can't travel.
That's not funny. Sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry for Ozzy fans, but like that, they need to, they could bring him out in like a, like Cleopatra.
B.B. King was sitting in a wheelchair when he played his last show. I mean,
But it's the tour.
He said, and I don't know how Sharon feels about this, but he said that playing before his fans is his biggest love affair in his life.
Right. Well, he meant it a little differently. I don't
think so.
Well, yeah, that's okay.
Hey, by the way, we were talking about Tom. Did you hear what the last thing he said yesterday on his video?
Post? Goodbye. Thanks. What do you say?
I wouldn't change a thing. And I think we were talking about the divorce and how that played out, and I thought that was really apropos. I thought that was really important. I was trying not to read too much into it.
I don't think he was referring to it.
Well, the last thing you say after everything he's been through in his personal life to say, I wouldn't change a thing. In other words, I would not have changed my mind about coming back to play. Which means, now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Give me a percentage. If Tom stayed retired last year, would he have still gotten divorced?
Oh, quite possibly.
Percentage. I won't say 75% because I think it was doomed anyway. I think it was just
I would say I was a little low, 60.
Percentage that he goes on a date with Giselle from this point forward. Could be a year from now, 10 years from now.
Oh.
A date,
like official date that the paparazzi says it's a date. It's not, we're not co-parenting and having a...
No, like, hey, you want to go out and grab some dinner. And there's actually maybe a passionate kiss involved there.
I think it's low. Well, they've been together a long time, though. See, there's this big change. That's the problem. There's this big change, but...
She wrote a nice post, by the way.
Yeah, it was not nice. It was cordial.
It was very short.
It's all... Here's the problem.
Wishing the best for you.
You know what we're doing right now? We are doing what we do with friends who get divorced.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if... Do you think it is... Was it really him? Was it really her? Was it they? Did they... do you really think that they... And I feel like, particularly for celebrities, because we don't know them. We're going on... Both of them are saying all the right things, which I'm not saying that they don't believe it and that they don't live it.
Yeah.
They're co-parenting. There's not a whole lot of animosity that we can see. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, I don't know. I don't know if the settling down period allows them to sort of potentially reconcile. That being said, well, I don't know. Because his job was so... No, his job... It's one thing, will the person ever change? It's another thing if they were tied to their job and then they retired.
Well, I got news for you. He's going to be working harder now than he did.
And that's what I was just going to say.
Because TV commentator.
Oh, my gosh. Right. So in that way, it ain't going to be any different.
No.
She didn't want
it. And if he gets after it like he does everything, he's going to do everything he can to be the best commentator possible. If that's what he chooses to do, and it appears that that's what he's going to do. I think there's 0% chance. I'd love to see reconciliation. I think the fact that they got divorced so quickly, we heard about it on a Monday and they were divorced by Thursday.
Yeah, but that could have been long.
Well, and that's why I think that bridge was burned a long time ago.
Sure.
And I think she finally got. And by him retiring the National Football League, it was the straw, but it wasn't the reason. That's not like retire or else I'm going to leave you.
But now I think look, we know that he knew knows and acknowledges that he's close to retirement at every single point, right? This is not a 25-year-old. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that it was this kind of teetering back and forth. I think that the divorce and everything that led up to the divorce, it's a major wake-up call. I mean, even if you knew the divorce was coming, I got a lot of clients like this, that day that you wake up and you realize we are not married, we are not together, even if you've been separated. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here he is. He's got that, which is a huge weight. The psychological weight of that it's 1,000 pounds.
Yep.
Now let's add on top of it. He's at the end of his career. Mm-hmm. So that's a reality. He's going to retire, whether it's this year, next year, the next year. This is not 15 years. That's also a huge psychological weight. Mm-hmm. Then the other part, the athlete part, which you hear every athlete talk about. I remember Kobe talking about this. They all talk about this. It's not the playing in the game. It is the prep for the season.
Sure.
Do I have it in me to go one more time? Yep. And I'm telling you that combination, if you put all those together and he mixed it up in his head, I'm divorced, which means I got to really rethink my life. Mm-hmm. I'm close to retirement anyway. I love this game. And for me to get back for next year, I got to go through, even healthy Tom Brady, I got to go through hell.
Yeah.
It may have been just enough. Well, I'm sorry. Let me add one more on. I've got a $375 million exit strategy. Mm-hmm. I think that was enough to wake up and go, nah.
We're going to talk more about hanging it up. I got 4 questions I'm going to ask Dr. Josh. These are 4 questions that if you're thinking about hanging it up, you're thinking about retiring, you're thinking about moving from one job to the next, maybe you're giving up on a dream, maybe you're giving up on a marriage. Mm-hmm. Hanging it up could have a lot. Hanging it up could be a lot of different situations. Hanging it up with a girlfriend, hanging it up with a boyfriend, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you this 4 questions in a minute. Punxsutawney Phil. Percentage of times he's right. Today he saw a shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. How often?
70%.
40% of the time. So they're saying Punxsutawney Phil's never wrong. Well, the reason is I forget who we have. Gary the groundhog or whoever at the Birmingham Zoo?
Yeah.
He ain't going to see a shadow today. It's really weird though, because when you see a shadow, the sun's out, you'd think if the sun's out, spring is coming soon. I never understood that. Anyway, right 40% of the time. So
we have 6 weeks of winter?
Which, yeah.
What happens when you live in like
people down here complaining about how rainy and nasty it's been? And then a friend of mine from Chicago called me last night. Shut up. You guys got it so good. I don't want to hear it. We got 3 inches of ice right now, and I have no power. I don't want to hear that 55-degree rainy weather.
I have a client who's going to be in Lake Placid, New York this weekend.
Oh my gosh.
It's negative 36.
They had the Olympics there, for God's sakes. You know it's going to be nasty. Go to TonyCurryRadio.net. Check out our Twitter poll, and I'll give it to you at the end of our show today. Before we get into these 4 questions about should you hang it up, whatever you're wanting to hang up. Birthdays to Shakira. You know who she is?
46.
Very good. Farrah Fawcett would have been today.
Oh, God. 80?
76. Can you tell me what Farrah Fawcett's character's name was in Charlie's Angels?
No. Dawn?
Isn't that weird that we cannot remember Farrah Fawcett's? I can remember
any of them.
I can remember what does that tell you?
I can't
that
remember.
Means that their name, their given name, was so much more branded and bigger than their actual character name. And normally you can always remember, like most people don't remember that Bob Denver was Gilligan. They remember Gilligan, but they can't remember Bob Denver.
Oh, I see.
It's reversed when you're talking about Charlie's Angels. She was Joe Monroe.
Oh, yes. Well, because that's
Christine Brinkley.
It's her birthday today?
Uh-huh.
She's 63.
She may be the best looking 69-year-old I've ever
seen.
She's 69. She looks great for 69.
She was covered.
Yeah. Graham Nash of Crosby, Stills and Nash.
76.
81. George Washington.
He's dead.
He passed away a few years ago, yes. He would have been 291 today.
You know, I went and saw Hamilton. And
the play or the movie?
No, the play.
The movie. There's a movie too.
Well, no, it was on Disney. Yeah, but they're doing it's showing locally here in Birmingham.
I'm gonna miss that.
Well, I'm not a big musical guy.
Yeah.
But I cried.
You're not a musical guy?
Oh God, I hate musicals. My family's into them.
You cried?
I cried. There's a scene in, I know, and it was late at, it was like past my bedtime.
Yeah.
So I was already tired. Brought my snacks.
Remind me, I don't want to talk about it on the air because it's a personal thing, about a movie that I heard about yesterday that you need to go see.
Okay. Jeez.
It's up for an Academy Award this year. It's about two 13-year-old boys, I think. I heard it and I thought, man, this is a Dr. Josh movie based on your personal life and everything that goes on it. Today is Crepe Day, National Crepe Day. Crepe?
Mm-hmm. Crepe?
You know what a crepe is?
It's a thin pancake.
Very good. Today is Groundhog Day. Today is also Marmot Day. You know what a marmot is? It's a giant ground squirrel that lives in Alaska.
Yeah, yep.
And it's been celebrated since 2009. It's an official holiday in the state of Alaska, Marmot Day is.
Okay.
Today's also Hedgehog Day. The hedgehog
Where
gets
is your
kinda
hedgehog? Is
screwed
your
off.
hedgehog dead?
My hedgehog died a few years ago.
Okay.
You know the difference between a hedgehog and a groundhog. They're two totally different animals.
So a hedgehog has the...
Well, most of them do, and they ball up as a defensive mechanism. They're obviously much smaller animal. They eat different things. A hedgehog and a groundhog are totally different.
Yeah.
Today is National Sweater Day. Neither of us are wearing a sweater today.
I'm not a big sweater guy.
Today is perfect day for you. It's Optimist Day. Today's the day to be optimistic, my friend.
You know what's so funny about being...
Glass half full day.
You know what's so funny about being on this with you in this format?
Yeah.
Obviously, the people who, my friends and my family, they know me and they know the real me. And I'm not being fake or anything. But I think people make the association or the assumption, that because I'm a psychologist and I do a lot of social media stuff and I help people, there is this assumption that I must be optimistic. Mm-hmm. And I am not. I'm working on learning to be more optimistic.
Yes.
But some of the most famous, I don't include myself in this, but some of the most famous psychologists in the world, in history, were deeply pessimistic. And in fact, it is what drove their research. Martin Seligman is basically the guy who developed the theory of depression. Mm-hmm. He also developed the theory of positive psychology. And well-being, and the reason, and this is just a little tidbit, the reason in his book about learned optimism, that's the book, he basically wrote, I was depressed, B, I had studied depression my whole life, I became a grumpy asshole, and I decided, okay, if we can help people move them from the depths of depression to just normal, why can't we take them from pessimism or normal to happy or well-being, and that's why he did it. But I'm you know me.
Yeah, but optimism is purely spiritual.
Well, no, I mean
No,
it's
is.
not purely. No,
No,
it's
it is. It's an
it
inner thing.
can be, but it doesn't have to be spiritual. There's a thing called learned.
No,
optimism.
I'm not talking about religious spirit. I'm just talking a spiritual. You need to have
internal.
You have the internal spirit.
But you can learn it. But you can learn it. We don't have to just. You don't have to. It doesn't have
No,
to.
you can't just turn it on. It's not a switch.
Well, and it can't, and it doesn't
switch.
happen. It doesn't really happen to you. There are definitely some people who are born more optimistic.
Sure.
Their outlook is more optimistic. I would say that my wife is somebody who became more optimistic from her sort of early childhood. Mm-hmm. Her favorite phrase is "Today I choose joy."
Yeah, and joy, of course, is different than happiness.
Yeah,
Happiness is fleeting. Joyness is a state of
yeah, I
mind.
know, but every time she does, I roll my eyes.
The other one is you don't have bad days. You have bad moments.
I know.
We're not going to ruin a whole day just because of one damn thing.
I do.
You got to move on. Now that's easier said than done.
I've been doing that.
And like
since I was
all things in
12.
life, it's a lifestyle change. Whether it's a diet, whether it's an addiction, whatever it is.
You are right.
You can't flip the switch one day, 1 week feel great, and the next week feel like it's a gradual.
It's the way of seeing things in the world.
Exactly. Okay. Today's also Sled Dog Day.
Sled dog?
Sled Dog Day.
Well, love me a good sled.
All right, I want to do two more things with you real quick. I want to get into this Tom Brady thing. What would you do to hang it up? What do you have to do? And whether you're hanging up retirement, whether you're hanging up when you're leaving a job, whether you're leaving a mate, whatever you're deciding to give up, I'll hang up. And I got 4 questions that I think will round up the whole thing. So I'm going to get into that. And then I want to talk about some LeBron James. We're going to have some fun, some basketball, because LeBron James is going to, assuming he doesn't get hurt, He is going to break the record probably next Tuesday. If he averages 30 points a game, he's 89 points away. And where he is as far as in the GOAT, because I believe that LeBron James is the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. And I know Jordan fans, and I've got numbers to back it up.
This is going to be a good next segment.
It is going to be good. We'll get to those 4 questions coming up here next right here on Kurre and Klapow. Don't forget to join us with Janice and Doubly and the entire crew. We had like 7 people in the studio last week.
Yeah, I didn't know that they could all fit behind.
It was awesome, wasn't it? We should have them over in the studio sometime. We'll get into the time to hang it up, and we'll get into that coming up here next right here with Kurre and Klapow.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.